Hello, BookTube. Welcome back to the History Shelf. I am your host, Peg. Today we have a book haul of sorts. It is a book haul, but it is from BookOutlet, and I had bought them at different times, but I hadn't filled them yet because of the move. So now that I've got most of my books kind of reorganized, or somewhat, as you can see, I'm still working on the background. I'm still hoping to have the office reorganized by a week from now. Um, but I tried to keep the books that I had recently acquired together so that when we got them into the new house, I could easily locate them and share them with you all. So, yeah, this was two different two different times that I ordered from Book Outlet. I'll start with the books that I ordered a little longer ago that I haven't showed you yet. We have a mixture here of history, of course, historical fiction, of course, and my good old mysteries. My good old mystery detective stuff that I really love. Been adding to my. Gosh, I'm running out of desk space already. You're probably like wondering what the heck is she doing. Um, So, yeah, I've got a little mixture of everything here. So let's just dive right in, shall we? I'll start with this big book here. This is one of the books I had ordered a while ago from Book Outlet. It wasn't super cheap, but for the beauty of the book, the size, the illustrations, and the pictures, it was a pretty decent deal. This is The Great Bear at War, the Russian and Soviet Army from 1917 to present, by Chris McNabb. Forward by Mark Galeotti, and this is from Osprey, the great folks at Osprey. But I found this on sale at Book Outlet, and I wanted to get it. Richly illustrated, tons of period photographs. A lot of this stuff is very looks like it could have been taken today. From what I'm hearing, though, from the news lately, is that the word coming out is like the Russian army in the invasion of Ukraine was not prepared at all. The intelligence they had was wrong. And while the Soviet Union, I should say, did a brutal but effective job in fighting Hitler in World War II, and thank goodness for that, I mean, they carried the brunt of that war in the East, obviously. But I don't know if it was very skillful. It was just throwing men in the way of the bullets. And I just don't know if I just don't think that has changed, through today. But anyway, this book covers both the Russian and Soviet armies, so that obviously pre-revolutionary Russia, very very slightly. The emergence of the Red Army. Well, it starts in 1917, so not very much pre-revolutionary, but a nation forged by war. But it's a beautiful book and very stunning photographs, very evocative. But you can tell by the just the fighting equipment from 1917 that it does kind of encompass the Russian armies, accoutrement, their tactics, things like that. We go from the Bolshevik army through to World War II, and to present day, all the way up to. Hang on a second. What is this one? The war against the Chechens. It goes up to 2000. It's got a great bibliography, which is going to be very helpful. Probably 2008, I'm thinking. Let's see, this came out in. Oh, okay. Actually, might be all the way up until like 2014. This came out in 2019. So I got that. It's a beautiful hardcover. So I was happy to get that. Sorry, I was distracted. Okay. Another Russian history book I found at Book Outlet was really is very timely. I'm finding a lot of Russian history books lately. It's Soviet Tragedy, A History of Socialism in Russia, 1917 to 1991 by Martin Malia. This is like an older copy, and it's from Free Press. So I love these older editions that Book Outlet sometimes has on sale, and they're always low stock. When you see them and it says low stock on the book cover, you've got to nab it. And this one you can tell was made in like probably printed or published in 1994. Okay, but still, it has a very distinctive look, and I just love this cover. I don't have Martin Malia, but it basically, this would be just rereading things that I already know, but I enjoy reading it by different authors to see their writing style. You know what I mean? And if it's something you're interested in, it never really gets old. You can kind of reread it from different angles. So I was happy to find this and to add it to my my collection of Russian and Soviet history. Don't really have a description for you. I think the subtitle says it all. So it's, dated, obviously, up to like 1994. There was a reprint in 1996. But it says here, the Soviet Tragedy, this is from the TLS when they reviewed it. It says, the Soviet Tragedy offers the most thorough scholarly analysis of the communist phenomenon that we are likely to get for a long while to come. Malia states that his narrative is intended to substantiate the basic argument. And this is certainly an argumentative book, book, which drives its thesis home with hammer blows. On this breathtaking journey, Malia is a witty and often brilliantly penetrating guide. He has much wisdom to impart. So it's a big chunkster. I think it's a chunkster. It's about 570 pages. So that was another Book Outlet find. Okay, so then we're moving on to, these I won't read a description of, but they had these were some of the ones I bought a while ago. This one was my most recent purchase, was this one. I was trying to group it by subject. This is military history, and these I bought along with the Great Barrett War. They had a bunch of the Osprey slim volumes that I've shown a lot on this channel. I think you've seen them before. And they had a lot of them marked down. And when you see these marked down, you just got to go for it. And I did. So this is one of my favorite series I've mentioned before. It's the Combat series. They're very slim. Okay, they're numbered, so you know where you're at in the series. This is number 40. And obviously Macedonian Phalangite versus Persian Warrior by Murray Dahm. Alexander confronts the Achaemenids. I know how to pronounce it. It just takes me a while. Achaemenids, 334 to 331 BC. Richly, it's great maps. Love the artwork. Just a very brief overview, but it gets you there. That kind of artwork that I get from like my Ancient Warfare magazines is there. I love it. So I was really happy to find this one. That was marked down, so I picked that one up. Another combat number 33 that I found was U.S. Airborne Soldier versus German Soldier by David Campbell. This is Sicily, Normandy, and Operation Market Garden, 1943 to 44. Slim. They're all slim, but similar, similar take on everything. Again, always a great piece of original artwork in the centerfold. Fantastic. Basically, it is what it says. It kind of compares the two, showing, the time of equipment, type of weaponry, uniforms, organization that these units and these soldiers used. Another one in the combat series. Combat number 45. Really excited to have this one. Samurai versus Ashigaru by Stephen Turnbull. This is Japan, 1543 to 75. Look at that. That's dope. This author, he was even able to, this artist, was able to do the blurring action. Check that out. Of the fighting, or maybe they just did that for the cover. I don't know, but it's pretty dope if you ask me. Again, I'm giving you a sneak peek of all this fabulous artwork in the center. Whoa! Heimlich maneuver. No, just kidding. Okay, that's not good. Good stuff. So again, there are a bunch of these were marked down on Book Outlet. I was really happy to get it. So, and then the other series that Osprey makes, they have one called Men at Arms. And this is Men at Arms 527. They have a lot of them. This is Roman army units in the Western provinces, part 2. Okay. 3rd century AD by Raphael D'Amato, illustrated by Raphael Ruggeri. Focus. My camera's a little, I'm uploading a video right now. So that's, I don't know, maybe that's why it's going slowly, but slim volume. The Men at Arms basically cover the uniforms, equipment, history, and organization of the world's military forces, past and present. So they include like photos, sculptures, the full color artwork, which I love, and again, unrivaled detail. Okay. So I geek out on that stuff. It's no secret. I have said that and shown that on this channel many times before, and will continue to. And then we have the Elite series. And this one was quite different, but I was just like, I'm interested. Let's check this out. This is Elite 227, and this is Armies of the Baltic Independence Wars, 1918 to 1920, by Tomasz Baltowski and Nigel Thomas, PhD. Did I mention the other writers? David Campbell? Yeah, okay, I did. I want to make sure I gave... Ooh, and illustrated by Johnny Shumati. I like his work. And these always have like a green. The Elite is green on the spine and at the borders. The Men at Arms have the blue. They're very distinctive, so you know what you're getting. Again, and so with Elite, it's the history of military forces, artifacts, personalities, and techniques of warfare. Look at that. All right. Lots of great photographs. I just love these old photographs, some of these old soldiers. So it was marked down super cheap, and I wanted to add to my collection, so I went with it. And then finally, another one of my favorites, a series along with Combat, is the Campaign series, which really gives you a whole kind of 50,000-foot view of a certain military engagement or campaign. It is what it says it is. And these are a little bit longer, like 96 pages. But this is Campaign 341, The Long March, The Rise of Mao and the Beginning of Modern China. That is by Benjamin Lai, illustrated by Adam Hook. All right. China is always a big interest to me, Chinese history. The rise of Mao, how communism got its foothold there in China. It's always been interesting to me, again, because I study communism, whether it's Soviet, Chinese, North Korean, all that kind of stuff. Vietnam. It's very interesting to me because, again, Martina has often asked me, why do you read about, I said, it's like I don't read about Stalin and Hitler because it's like, oh, I like fascism and I like communism. It's because I hate it. And it's about knowing, again, I'll say it again, knowing your enemy and knowing how these things happen and how they come to pass. You think in this advanced age, I still can't believe we're at 2022 and Russia has invaded a sovereign country and is decimating it, decimating 10%. But just leveling cities, bombing maternity wards, killing children and stuff like this. It just boggles my mind. You think that we're so advanced. I still kind of believe at times, oh, we're beyond that. But my studies have shown me, and it's telling me now, it's like, Peggy, we're not beyond it. And also my study of my my faith. Human nature doesn't change. And I actually got into a very friendly disagreement with another booktuber at one point. And this person believed that human nature could change. Nothing, no evidence of that. But yet they believe that human nature can change. And humans do great things and do good things. And you see the good things that people do to help people. But overall, human nature doesn't change. And some of these ideologies, these just hideous forms of belief, like in communism and, you know, fascism, just in with Hitler was riven with this very bizarre form of like blood purity and racism. It's just, you know, these things just don't go away. So I study these things, and she understood when I explained it to her in those terms. She goes, "Okay, now I get it. Yeah, it's not because I'm a cheerleader. You know, she thinks I have like this. I don't, and she understands now that I study. The reason why I have like 3 Hitler biographies is you have to be on guard to these things. You've got to know. It's unpleasant. These are very evil, unpleasant people. But how they acted, how they got there, the steps they took, the organizations they headed that were all benign in the beginning, that sounded so benign, National Socialism. Oh, what's wrong with National Social? And there was nothing socialistic. Well, wait a second. I'm going to start arguing with myself. Like with Hitler, you know, it was, they put this nice, in fact, I'm going to be doing a book review of 2 books I've just recently read, historical fiction, Wolf and Sins of the Father. And I can't wait for the final 3rd volume. But really good stuff. I'm going to be doing a separate video on those 2 books. But like with Hitler, you know, he picked a very benign name for his organization. But they hated socialism. They hated the communists, right? So you have to know how people got to those reigns of power. And like with Putin, how did he get to this rise to power? Read Masha Gessen. You know what I mean? The man without a face, Vladimir Putin, his rise to power. You have to study. And I'm fascinated because it's the face of the thing you have to fight. Anyway, sorry, little side note there, but same with China. And now look what we're dealing with China. Xi Jinping, just recently basically changed the Chinese government's stipulation or charter or whatever it was, saying that basically it's making him president for life. So this stuff happens. So like history does repeat itself, and these things are just insidious. And this, I just wonder what would have happened in life if Karl Marx had never been born, because the guy was just riddled with evil thoughts. And I'm sorry. So there might be a lot of people out there who like communism and the whole thought of it. But to me, it's a delusion. It's a grand delusion. And in my belief, it's also just spiritually driven. And it's a big lie. And we know who the king of lies is, right? It leads people down this path. And then what do you get? You get mass mayhem. And millions and millions and millions and hundreds of millions of people dead. But, you know how I feel about that. Anywho, we're going to move on to historical fiction. I got 2 by the same author here, and I'm excited to... in fact, I had downloaded an audiobook by this author about the Confessions of Nero. I haven't finished listening to it. It's just hard for me to listen to audiobooks. So I might just pick up the book. But these are 2 other books by her. So I thought, you know what, maybe I'll try reading some of her fiction and seeing how I like it. And this has to do with, I think, the Tudors here. So is this... I don't know if she was considered... Well, we're going to start with this. This is Margaret George. So let me know if any of you out there have read Margaret George and if you enjoy her work and if you recommend these or any of her other works. But this is the autobiography of Henry VIII with notes by his fool, Will Summers. Again, Margaret George. She wrote Memoirs of Cleopatra and the other book I'm about to show you. So, nice, big, meaty historical fiction. Just love it. It's the kind of book you can get lost in. And super cheap on sale at BookOutlet, so I picked this one up. Haven't read it, but let's read it real quick here. It says, much has been written about the mighty, egotistical Henry VIII, the man who dismantled the church because it would not grant him the divorce he wanted, who married 6 women and beheaded 2 of them, who executed his friend Thomas More, who sacked the monasteries, who longed for a son and neglected his daughters, Mary and Elizabeth, who finally grew fat, disease-ridden, dissolute. Now, in her magnificent work of storytelling and imagination, Margaret George brings us Henry VIII's story as he himself might have told it, in memoirs interspersed with irreverent, I gotta put my glasses on, this is small type, in memoirs interspersed with irreverent comments from his jester and confidant, Will Somers. Brilliantly combining history, wit, dramatic narrative, and an extraordinary grasp of the pleasures and perils of power, this monumental novel shows us Henry the man more vividly than he has ever been seen before. So yes, nice, big, meaty, 900 pages. This would have counted for March of the Mammoths if I had had time in March to read a mammoth book. But so I was able to really get a nice, clean, beautiful copy of this. And then I picked up her other book. Sometimes when they have these sales, you'll find that they have a glut of things by the same author all at once, and then they're gone, and then they might come back. But so I picked up as many as I could by her. In fact, I might get the Confessions of Nero, and maybe if I can find the Memoirs of Cleopatra as well. But this is Mary, Queen of Scotland and the Isles. So another, it says it was a national bestseller. So I picked this one up as well. So it's nice, serviceable paperback, trade paperback, nice and big. Not as long as the other, only 870 pages. So I picked it up. It says here, Margaret George's Mary, Queen of Scotland and the Isles brings to life the fascinating story of Mary, who became the Queen of Scots when she was only 6 days old. Raised in the glittering French court, returning to Scotland to rule as a Catholic monarch over a newly Protestant country, and executed like a criminal in Queen Elizabeth's England, Queen Mary lived a life like no other. And Margaret George weaves the facts into a stunning work of historical fiction. So I'll check it out, and I'll see if that's true. So 2 books by Margaret George. Okay, and then now we're going to move into one of my favorite new mystery series that I discovered last year. When I was able to review for Book Browse Review a prequel to the series. So it didn't, I was able to be introduced to this character, but not have anything ruined or I have not understand the characters because I came into it midway or at the end of the series. So it was a prequel of the Cork O'Connor mystery series written by William Kent Kruger, and I started to collect the books. I think in one of my last videos I showed you that I picked up the first, I picked up a few of them on Amazon. They were like 3 for $2. So I did that. But the prequel was called Lightning Strike. I highly recommend. It was beautiful. And then I picked up these. I don't need to read the description of each because these are, I think, books. They don't really say if they're books 4 or 5 and whatever, but I think it goes like this. Actually, these are the midway books because I picked up the first 3 or 4 books in the series after the prequel. And then I picked up, they were super cheap. So, and these are like a little bit skinnier than like the prequel was pretty big. This is Thunder Bay, a novel by William Kent Kruger, who he's also written a couple of standalones that people have been highly recommending, such as, I think is Ordinary Land. No, there was This Tender Land, and I think Ordinary Grace or something like that. Ordinary Grace and This Tender Land, and people, I really want to read This Tender Land. I've been hearing great things about it. So this is the Cork O'Connor mystery series. He's part Irish and part Anishinaabe Native American, and it's set in, I believe, Minnesota in the Twin Cities, not in the Twin Cities area, but it's set up in like the wilds of Minnesota, and it's really neat. And I really enjoyed Lightning Strike. So that was set when Cork O'Connor was a young boy, probably 12 or something like that. 12 or 13. So I picked up Thunder Bay. I forget which number this is in the series, but it doesn't matter. Then I picked up Copper River. It's just nice, just a certain series I like to collect and own, like Elizabeth. We got Margaret George, and then there's Elizabeth George, who writes the Inspector Lindley series. And then I picked up Tamarack County. The goal is I'm going to have all of them. And then Heaven's Keep. So sometimes, again, they'll have a glut of books by the same author that just show up. And if there's like a 20% off sale going on, they're super, super cheap and free shipping after 35 bucks. So that's my book outlet haul of sorts from 2 different shopping trips. Let me know what you think. Anyway, I know I digressed a little bit there, but sometimes it's good to just share how I think on certain things so you know where I'm coming from. But anyway, guys, I hope you're having a great day. Let me know what you think of these books. And until next time, we'll see you back here on the History Shelf. Take care.